Welcome to Kiwi Bred, your weekly look at the New Zealand thoroughbred breeding industry. I'm Aidan Rodley. Over the next half hour we head south to Inglewood Stud to check on the progress of resident sires of Kinto and head to Ashburton to discuss the breeding ventures of former All Black Bevan Wilson. But up first is the Dennis brothers. I caught up with Tony, Ray and Martin to talk about the remarkable success they've had over the past 5 decades as breeders. As individuals they are each remarkable horsemen, but as a team, Southland's 4 Dennis brothers have long been a powerful force in New Zealand breeding and racing. Tony, Ray, Joe and Martin Dennis make up a band of brothers that have perpetually punched above their weight, 3 times producing the New Zealand Broodmare of the Year, as well as claiming a New Zealand Breeder of the Year title. When you look back over what you've achieved in racing and breeding, what will be the thing you're most proud of?
I think, to me, when I'm thinking about it now, the 3 New Zealand Broodmares of the Year. That's, when you think how hard that is to do.
And Breeder of the Year too.
And Breeder of the Year as well.
Down here.
And I don't think there's any other breed in New Zealand that's got 3 Broodmares of the Year. Any breeds, you know, the breed, all related to each other.
It's great, the contribution to racing, but it's the 3 New Zealand Broodmares of the Year, and when we became Breeder of the Year, and next thing Patrick Hogan come up to us and says, I've never been Breeder of the Year. And I thought, what?
That New Zealand Breeder of the Year title was in the 1993-94 season, when brothers the Phantom Chance and the Phantom claimed victories in the Cox Plate and McKinnon Stakes respectively, having given the Dennis brothers the great delight of watching them clash in several Group 1 races over the Melbourne Spring Carnival. But that's just one of many thrills their great breed have given them over the years.
Well, it's obviously the ones you own are the better than the ones that probably, and the jewel would have to be what she did to it, winning a couple of Group 1s. We've got she'd have to be the Twinkle. We went winning a Group 1 with the Twinkle, training it and breeding it and everything and owning it was probably way up there too at that stage. Well, but then when the jewel came along, and of course we pre-trained the jewel here a bit at times before she went away, you know.
And then you've got the Phantom and the Phantom Chance. Well, and watching those 2 race over the Underwood Stakes too, and there's about 8 horses or 9 horses on the race, and here's the Phantom Chance in the same race. Yeah. You know, running 1st and 3rd or something like that. You know, that was amazing.
And then winning the McKinnon Stakes, and the Phantom runs 2nd in the Melbourne Cup and a 4th, and
the Cox Plate,
Plates and things. And then the Phantom Chance won a Cox Plate. Now you realise just what an effort that was to do that, to breed it. But then we bred Irish Chance that won the Auckland Cup, you know, and when you start thinking, then another one, the VRC Oaks with Brian Andon, we bred one, our Sophia. So you start going back, and what else have we done, you know? You're sort of thinking, we've probably done a fair bit for what amount of horses we've bred.
We never have a lot of foals. You know, we'd probably over the last 10 years average 5 or 6 foals a year.
The Dennis family began farming at Woodlands, northeast of Invercargill in 1937. Harold Dennis farmed cattle and draft horses before moving on to sheep. Then began the family's breeding and racing legacy when he bought Eager Lady for 70 guineas in 1950, and it was only natural his interest would rub off onto his 4 sons.
We went to a sale and bought a broodmare, and that's the dam of the ones that we're racing from now. But he was interested in horses, and the very first horse he bred won at the 2-year-old race at the Cup meeting. That was the first horse he bred. He sold it and won its first start at the Cup meeting as a 2-year-old.
So for you guys, was it just a mere formality that you'd follow into the farm and the racing business?
Probably farming was. We were, on those days, there was no TV, I suppose, and we used to drive to the races with them and that, and we certainly got interested that way.
The Dennis brothers registered their first training success with the Budget, bred by their father Harold at the Riverton Easter meeting in 1960. How did you learn to train?
Taught ourselves. Well, it's quite. We'd been around races a bit and seen a bit, but we didn't know a lot, to be honest. I suppose, to be honest, we rang a fellow up down the road that was training a couple of horses and asked him, what do you do to feed them? And how much work do you give them? So he came up and showed us how much work, and we got on. We learnt to ride on ponies and things, and So we started riding them around the paddock as he told us, and yeah, I think it took us 6 weeks when we went to the races with a horse that had been in work and run second, and within 7 weeks we had a first and a second.
The Dennis brothers' training methods have evolved over the years but still retain their unique qualities, as they told host Michael Gurin at last year's New Zealand Thoroughbred Racing Awards when they were honoured with the award for outstanding contribution to New Zealand racing.
There's a lot of New Zealanders in this room, a lot of Kiwis, but when you're from the deep south, you're sort of a Southlander first and a Kiwi second, aren't you? It's a different part of the world down there. They breed them tough, and you've got to be tough to train horses down there, because I'm picking it's pretty nippy there at 5:30 in the morning at the moment.
Well, that's something else we do different. We train them all in the afternoon. It takes all sorts to make trainers. Not everybody's right.
While the Dennis brothers' achievements over the years earned them accolades such as the Contribution to Racing Award, it was the decision to turn down a potentially life-changing offer of £3,000 for Eager Lady's daughter, the Kurd, that was to set them on the path to breeding success. Almost every Group 1 winner the brothers have bred since have the Kurd in their ancestry. Her daughter, the Pixie, was named Broodmare of the Year in 1981, and she left 1994 Broodmare of the Year, the Fantasy, the Dam of the Phantom and the Phantom Chance, while 2003 Broodmare of the Year, the Grin, was a daughter of the Pixie.
Malay was just so strong, improved the breed down here so much, and obviously with the Pixie, she was obviously a top mare. And
I think we're quite lucky also. Kurdistan and Malay and Noble Jew, they all clicked together. They just left a lot of good horses.
But yeah, I think Noble Bijou certainly did, but then Gatekeeper was there in Otago too, so that's where we ended up with the Twinkle and the Fantasy.
Just thinking back to then and what it's like now, it must be a lot harder because those top stallions, that you're always having to travel your mares, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, well, in those days we didn't send mares North Island. We didn't have to. We went to Malays, and the cost of sending them up there, and you're paying grazing and your transport all the time. And now, it's so cheaper, much cheaper to send them to Dunedin to White Robe and just get them in foal and bring them home and cart them up yourself. We realised a few years back now that we've got to go up to the proven stallions. Yeah.
Third generation trainer Robert Dennis now has 10 horses in work with the brothers, while Claire Anderton also trains for the family, continuing a great association with the Anderton family, stemming back to Harold Dennis and Heck Anderton's enduring friendship. Those continued family ties led to one of racing's most emotional wins when the Dennis brothers bred and raced the Diamond One triumphed in the Group 3 White Robe Lodge Handicap, just days after Steve Anderton was tragically killed in February last year.
The Diamond One is coming after those on the outside. Chapel Star, the Diamond One with an angel on every shoulder down towards the line. The Diamond One gets there.
So,
We had 3 horses race that day, for 2 wins and a second. I just felt sick in the stomach all day, sort of thing.
Yeah, it was.
I can't. It's too hard to explain. It was. It's so emotional.
Yeah, it's the most emotional I think any of us ever been at a race meeting. It was just.
Yeah,
you're so happy that she won for him.
Yeah, that presentation
so sad
was, I found it hard to go out and talk that day, to say anything and without breaking up too much, and because it's hard enough sometimes after you won a big race to be able to go out and say something with a bit of emotion, but
it's a race you'll never forget.
The Dennis brothers had their own misfortune earlier this year when they lost their great mare, the Jewel. However, they have great depth to their broodmare band.
Well, at the moment we've got 5 mares at Wentworth Grange. That's the mares, they're the top mares, obviously, the ones that are worth having up there, or we think they are. Then, the yearlings are at Phoenix Park. We've got 3 yearlings going to the sales, 2 Savabils and an O'Reilly. And 1 Savabill's out of the Jewel, 1 out of the Glitzy one. And they're both colts, and the colt out of O'Reilly is out of the Perla. So those 3 are all at Janine Dunlop's at Phoenix Park. So she's doing them for the sales. And then we've got 4 yearlings still here. They're all 3 of them are fillies here. So that's the way we're working now. The better ones go to Janine's, and Wentworth Grange look after all the mares.
Yes, the Dennis brothers have had such an impact on thoroughbred breeding in New Zealand, and it's terrific that their contribution has been recognised. After the break, we head a little further north to Inglewood Stud and chat to Gus Wigley about last season's champion New Zealand first season 2-year-old sire Zakinto.